that's a good question. So, this is like a love letter to Miami-Jackson Senior High School and the city of Miami. This movie is just that, really. That's all it is. It's a love letter. And
hey everyone, this is Jana Nascimento Nagasi from Mir Jana On Camera, and today I have the pleasure to be talking to executive producer Carla Berkowitz from Critical Thinking. How are you doing today, Carla?
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. I'm honored.
Yes. No, thank you for your time, and I'm very it's awesome to talk about this movie, Critical Thinking, because I know that there's a lot of story behind, and it was a movie that it wasn't like made like this. It was like a lot of time, a lot of happened, a lot of time you put on this. But I want to start for you. Can you tell us a little bit about the backstory?
Yes.
And why you think this story was important to tell us?
That's a good question. So I always say that this movie is a great true story with a better backstory. It just is. So what happened is in 1997 or 1998, Miami Herald had Tropic magazine, like the New York Times magazine, on Sundays. They don't have it anymore. And it was Sunday morning, and I woke up and I saw a picture. The cover was this boy with dreadlocks and holding a chess piece, a king. And the article, the whole picture was his face. And it's been my screensaver for 22 years, by the way.
Wow.
Anyway, so I saw this picture and it was called Kings in the Hood. And I read the article, and I had never made a movie before, but I knew that I had like a quantum shift in my brain after reading the article, about who really plays chess and who should be playing chess and who does play chess and nobody knows about. And it was a shift, like in my gut. And maybe it's the immigrant in me, because I didn't speak English when I got here either. From Venezuela. So I read the article, and the next day I called Mario Martinez, who is the coach who John Leguizamo portrays in the film, and at Miami-Jackson Senior High School. And I spoke to him, and I don't know how to describe it, but I told him that all I said was, trust me. I didn't know exactly how it was going to happen. And it didn't mean I didn't mean to take 20 years. Honestly, I didn't set out to say, well, I'm going to marinate on this for 20 years. And that's not what happened. But the next day when I spoke to Mario, then I interviewed the boys from 1998, because that was the first year that, without being a spoiler, but everybody knows the story, that they won the national championships. And we based the movie on 1998. So why did it get under my skin? I feel like, who else was going to tell this story? Who else was going to care about these kids? Like, nobody cared. In 1998, Miami was a really tough time. It was a tough time in both coasts, East Coast and West Coast. Everybody was, music was tough. Everybody was killing each other. There was riots in Florida. The whole Elian Gonzalez thing, all the politics, everything was really horrible. And in the middle of the most horrible place, there was an even more horrible school. And I say horrible only in the sense because it was 1998, and it was, weapons were all over the place. And there was this group of diamonds in the rough, these unbelievable street geniuses, I call them, who were making waves very quietly and getting out of the hood. In those days, that's what they used, by using their minds. And they stopped doing all the nasty things which they were doing. They stopped. And it's funny because one of the boys asked me, when the movie got greenlit finally in 2018, why is it that you cared so much about us for so many years? I started like, I'm a mother, so I don't ask me those kind of questions. I was crying, you know, I still cry, but I don't have an answer. I don't know. I just felt like nobody else cared. Nobody else paid attention. And you know, there are a lot of good stories out there, but not every story needs to be told to the world.
Yeah.
But this did. This story had to be told because in the middle of the worst decade, you know, and in the worst time, in the worst place in Miami, even a worse school, there was this beauty, this unbelievable, pure genius beauty coming out that really got to me. And they were 15, 16, 17 years old. Now they're almost 40. So and I said to them again, the same, just trust me. And they did. And it took 20 years.
But you did it. You see, you did it. No, I think sometimes there's some certain people that we meet that we have a connection. We don't know why. Maybe it's past life. I believe in that.
I agree with you.
It's a spirit. It's something that connects you, and that's why maybe you care about them.
I mean, they became like you know, I didn't raise them. Obviously, I'm not their mother, but you know, I was very protective, and I still am, you know, of them, and especially the coach. We became very close because I had the burden and the privilege of portraying their lives in a way that was elegant, accurate, cinematic, interesting enough for someone to go and pay money to see, but yet respectful. And that's a lot to balance. And I don't think, you know, they did trust me, and that gave me an anchor. And I hope I did that.
No, I think what you did, you were able, even though it took 20, 22 years, I think doesn't matter, but the way that you put together, it's like was well done. I really like the movie. I think it's very interesting, and I think people are interested in watching this type of movies that tell a story of real people, you know.
Yes, I mean, it has no special effects, and it's not a James Bond thing or anything like that. And I feel that they are their own special effects. They have their own power. Every boy has their own superpower in a way, in their own way, interesting, amazing way.
Yeah, it's a good story. I liked it. So, and I want to know how and when John Leguizamo came on board, you know, because he's also a fantastic actor, a comedian. I love him. So
I feel like he was born to play this role. I mean, I think he's born to play every role that he plays because he's so good in everything. But at the time, I think that the reason it took 20 years is because we were waiting for him, I think. I think we were waiting for him. God or higher power, or whatever you want to call it, was waiting for the world to be a place that needed to hear this kind of story by him. He had just finished his tour of Latin history for morons, so he already had this teacher thing going on. So this was perfect, and he is an immigrant as well, and so the story resonated with him. I'm speaking for him, so I don't know. But it resonated with him, and I believe that also ditto Montiel, who wrote the script, they actually know each other well. They didn't know that they were going to, you know, work together, but I believe that when Ditto wrote the script, I think he had John in mind. Not really, but I mean, it could have been, may as well. And what I was saying is, if you would have sat me down 20 years ago and said, listen, there's this project you're going to find, and it's going to take you 20 years to make. And then when you make it, there's going to be, you're going to get into 4 film festivals. 4 we got into. But before that, there's going to be a virus that's going to paralyze the world, and you're not going to be able to go to any of the film festivals, and one of them will be canceled. And then you won't be able to go to a movie theater to see it. You'll have to sit home. And I would have said, that's a really good story. We should write a movie about that story.
Yeah, let's do a movie.
That's a horror movie. But it turned out that that's what happened. And we got into South by Southwest, and we were bringing the whole cast and crew, which nobody ever does, like 40 people, and it was canceled. But we still got in, and we got into 3 others. One of them was the New York Latino Film Festival, which was a couple of weeks ago, which I actually went to. It was so much fun. We closed out the festival, and it's such a great festival. And the coincidence is that it was their 20th anniversary, so it kind of like, we sold it out. It was a drive-in. But if you would have told me that there would be a virus that would have literally, I would have just said, you know, it's like chess. It's like there's always like another step before checkmate. You know, there's always one more problem you have to fix. So that's the story. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, it's crazy, but I think you put so much love on this, and I think it's paying off. You know, and it also, I wanna like mention that I was looking at the crew, and you have a really good crew. You have the cast is amazing. Jorge and Angel. I was like,
they
those kids are
like, not only, okay, the cast is amazing. They acted like they knew, they acted amazing. But when I say acted, it was like the one question I get, and every review has the same thing, that they felt like they knew each other for their whole lives, and they just met a month before. But I think that the spirit, the karma that was like on the set was very different than any other movie set, pretty much that anybody had ever experienced. And I think it was because it was about real people, and everybody was very respectful of that. So we had the audition process was just overwhelming. We kind of just picked the people that not only almost looked like the real guys, but almost acted like the real guys. And I think we did a good job. I think that was John's great eye for that. But also the cinematographer, for example, Zach Zamboni, he was Anthony Bourdain's cinematographer for his whole career, Bourdain's whole career. And then of course he passed away, so he had free time. And I don't know another cinematographer that could have made, I said, if you can make a bowl of noodles look so good, you can do something with a chessboard, right? So he's like, yeah.
Of course. And it's fantastic. I love it. And also this story, of course, is a Miami story that happened over there. And you brought Miami to us, like all the cities. And when I was watching, I saw some places that I used to go, and because I used to live there. So how was that, like, how was filming in Miami for you?
That's a good question. So, you know, this is like a love letter to Miami-Jackson Senior High School and the city of Miami. This movie is just that, really. That's all it is. It's a love letter. And we had offers to film in many places that look like Miami. But it was obviously if you want to talk business, the incentives disappeared, and all the money that, that other places were offering was not available to us. So I made a very, an executive decision, I guess, it doesn't matter how much extra the movie, the movie cost, but it had to be Miami. It's a Miami story, born and bred. I wasn't going to fake locations or cheat locations or anything like that. And I made sure that Miami was part of the story as much as the people, because that is what bred those boys, those streets. And that's why the Pablo Neruda, the line, from the street we were summoned. Those streets are like olive presses. You get beautiful, olive oil when you press olive so hard like that. And those hard streets are what I think Miami, you can't take it out of Miami if it's a Miami movie. it's just not possible. So we made a choice to keep it there.
Yeah, which is great. I love it that we went to all these places that is familiar to
Yes, thank you.
who knows Miami or who been there, who live there.
Thank
And
you.
I think it's the best part. I think one of the best parts of the movie. Also, yeah. Also, I wanna mention to you, there was in any like was 20 years, there is any moment that you have, oh my God, I wanna give up what I'm doing. I'm gonna have a movie or not. Did you feel that way any moment?
Never. It's funny because when we got greenlit finally, when John came on and we did it, there were people that, there were obviously 20 years is a long time. So there were people that came back and that came in and out of the project. A lot of people. Some people came back after. And everybody would say to me, I can't believe you brought this back out. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I worked on this every day for 20 years. Even if there was nothing to work on, I made it happen. Like I would book a trip to LA to meet someone just because I wanted to keep the energy going, and not ever have a dip. So it was a full-time job for 20 years and there was never a time. As a matter of fact, this is only 1 year. It's a 10-year chess program. So there are 9 years, 9 more years, a little bit before and a little bit after, of amazing stories. This just happened to be the first year that they won the nationals, which is huge. Because like I said, the quantum shift of really who should have won and who was winning those tournaments was not these guys.
Yeah.
And so I'm always interested in the possibility of doing like a TV series to honor the movie, I guess, and to show the rest of the people, the rest of those boys and girls who went through that program, because they deserve it. Those stories also need to be told as well. So I'm not only not finished, I'm not only did not give up, but I'm not even finished in my mind. There's still so many other kids.
Yeah, other possibilities. You can do a documentary, you can do with the real ones, you can do a TV series, limited, like with episodes. It's you have a lot of possibilities, which I think it's a great story, and I need to salute you in your courage. Like you're very courage to keep up, because you never did this before. That's not your background. And and then I was like, and she did it.
Yeah, I feel like you don't have to be a cow to know what milk is. That's the way, like I always say. And, being a Latina and being a female, it's not easy in this business to be the only woman for 20 years. The only woman. Really. And I'm not like a feminist kind of a woman. I'm just a woman that likes to get things done, but I'm not like I'm not a feminist, nothing wrong with that, but it's just not my nature. But yet it was never not going to get done. Never a possibility. It was just a matter of, like I said, I feel like we were waiting for John in some weird way. And we were also, the temperature of the country and the world is so perfect for this uplifting, beautiful story of these guys who are not, who are not the typical, not only chess player, but the typical part of, what people think, Americans are. These are like misfits, I guess they were, excuse me. And so,
nowadays change it a lot. Of course, still some other minorities still suffering.
Yes.
But I think changed it a lot with the years, especially like Miami. I think Miami improved it a lot too. When I moved there, I moved in 2001, and I still have some little bit of the 97, 98 issues there.
Absolutely. And when I moved here, I was 11. So that was 1971. Miami was not ready for a Latin girl in Miami Beach. It wasn't, believe me, I was the only one in the school who did not speak English. And maybe that's what made me make the movie more and want to make it more. Maybe it was, stories from when I was a little girl. I would say to myself throughout the process, you know, if I would talk to myself when I was first came here, I would say, stop crying, don't cry, because, you know, sorry, don't cry.
That's okay.
Because in 25 years, you're going to be doing something that's going to change the lives of people like you forever.
Yeah.
And I did. I talked to myself a lot for 20 years.
Yeah. No, I know, and I understand the feeling, because I'm from Brazil. I also moved to the US to study, and then I'm here, and today I'm in LA interviewing a lot of like producers, actors, famous people that I never ever imagined in my life.
Imagine when you were little. I know, but and like you said, I never made movies before this. I did other things on a smaller scale. So I had the experience to take, you know, an idea that was just poof in the air to a concrete, marketable product and sell. So I did have that experience, but making this movie was just a grander scale, but it was still pretty much, I was prepared, very prepared, but not prepared to be the only woman in the room for 20 years and, you know, kind of have to like be careful how I say things. When it's my idea, it's not a good idea, but you know, when it's somebody else's idea, it's a great idea. It's okay. The movie got made and everything's perfect. So
that's awesome. I love that. And also, like, now the movie is on VOD, and they got some exposure on theaters as well. Now they're gonna close out the movie theaters, and which is a different year. So but even though I think it's still available, and I think is worth watching. Everybody needs to watch this.
I saw it in a theater.
Oh my God, that's good.
First time on September 4th when it came out. It was only for 2 weeks in a little art house theater in Tamarack. And it was only 25% capacity. And I was crying, not because I hadn't seen it before, but the sound design, you know, the colors, everything that we built into the movie, it's hard to appreciate on a TV, but when you're in a dark theater and you hear it, surround sound, and you're the big screen, I felt like I had seen it, never saw it before, and it was the first time. So I was like, I felt like I was a fan. So I did get to experience that, which I'm so thrilled. I hope a lot more than just me did. But it's like I said, if you would have said to me, there was a virus that's going to, you know, try to ruin your plans, I would have said, that's a horror movie.
Yeah, no, I don't believe in that, but that's awesome. Carla, I want to just thank you so much for your time, and it's a pleasure to talk to you. And I cannot wait to hear and to see if you're gonna come up with a TV series, a documentary about it. And I think
a documentary, if you want, I can send it to you. It's 15 minutes. It's great. I'll send it to you. But
that's awesome.
I promise I will call you first when we do the pilot.
Yes, I'll be there like waiting, and I'll be here like rooting and praying, and for everything gonna go fine. Thank you. And if you like this video, don't forget to comment, to like, and subscribe to our channel right here.